Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This video does not relate to any idol's personal life and all the incidents mentioned are truly fictional. Taehyung woke up with a frightening jerk as he heard the loud cries bursting his ears at early morning. The sun has not risen yet. He immediately sat on bed and saw which one of the twinnies is crying. He looked at Rosie, who was sleeping while stuffing her soft toy in her mouth, as 𝑤𝑜𝑛 is not with her, otherwise it would be either 𝑤𝑜𝑛's hand or her clothes in her mouth. He then looked at his son, who was crying his heart out with his dried throat. Taehyung immediately filled water in the glass kept on the nightstand and then made Jim drink it. He picked and placed Jim on his lap while kissing his head, and that's when they realized he was burning hot with high temperature. Taehyung's eyes widened in shock as Jim was burning hot like a stove. He immediately called his family doctor, who lives few streets away from his home. The doctor came and checked Jim's eyes and throat and then at last his chest with his stethoscope. Taehyung, why there is a huge bump on his forehead and where is 𝑤𝑜𝑛? How can she be so careless? Hyung, it's not like that. 𝑤𝑜𝑛 has gone to her parents' house for some work, he said in a low voice. Oh, but I insist you to call her back as soon as possible. Your baby is sick not because of cold, but uneasiness, cause his mother is not there. And believe me, if the fever was because of cold, the medicine can cure it, but this type of sickness can't be cured even by medicine. I don't understand one thing, how 𝑤𝑜𝑛 went leaving them alone. She's very responsible towards them. I've seen how she bring them for checkup in every few months. Is there something you are hiding from me? They can't control his tears now, as he got to know how much you have done for his baby selflessly without getting any credit or appreciation. You've always treated them like your own part. And on the other hand, he looked at how his babies are attached to you with his souls, that they can't be at peace without your presence. No wonder why they are so habitual of you. Her dad got to know we are living together and took her back. What? Now what will happen? I don't know, Young, what I will do now. My mind is not in its right place. Shh, calm down, Tay. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. 𝑤𝑜𝑛 love all three of you so much. She will definitely do something. She also can't survive without you all. I know, Young, she loves us, but she also loves her dad more than she loves anyone. I'm afraid, what if she leaves us cause her father will never agree? They just relax, man. Otherwise, you will fall sick too. Your face has turned pale. Believe in 𝑤𝑜𝑛. She will not abandon three of you. For now, I have given injection to your son. He will sleep for a while, but they bring 𝑤𝑜𝑛 before that. Anyhow, both of your kids need her, even you. Taehyung nodded and Kai left from there after patting his shoulder. Taehyung went in his deep thoughts that how he will bring 𝑤𝑜𝑛 back. It's still early in the morning, but he is wide awake now because of the saga going inside him. He sat there on the bed, resting his head on the headboard while caressing the heads of both of the babies on his either sides. His mind was reminding all the sweet memories with you. The first encounter in college, when he saved you from getting bullied, when you comforted him during his low phase, when you kissed him and accepted his proposal, when you accepted his baby siblings as your own kids, when you involved them in your life, when you first time became one, that beautiful night. Taehyung's thoughts broke as he felt someone small and lightweight sitting on his lap. He looked down to find Rosie crawling on his chest while tapping his cheeks. He immediately placed his hand around her little body for support so that she might not fall down. He looked at her as she kept tapping his chest and face again and again. What happened, princess? He asked when he looked her, pointing her fingers somewhere. It was their family photo with Ryan. He understood at one glance what his baby wanted, cause his own heart was longing for the same person. "You are searching for your mama?" Listening the word mama brought a smile on her face, and she started to make happy noises while looking around. Taehyung's tears started to drip again as his heart ached for breaking his promise he did to them last night. He didn't want the smile on his baby's face to turn in cries. He gulped the overwhelming lump in his throat. "Baby, see." Before he could complete his words, loud cries broke into the room, and he looked beside him, panicked, to see Jim has woken up. He's crying miserably while flapping his hands and legs in air. His cries are ear-piercing, and it felt like the pain in his body will suck out all the blood inside him. The pain was depicting from that little baby's cries. Taehyung immediately picked him up and started stroking him back and forth to bring ease in his body, but it was of no use. His cries was increasing more and more. His throat will be definitely sore after this much weeping. Taehyung was feeling so helpless and incapable. His hands were trembling as he was not able to handle two babies together. The only thing going in his mind was, "Why, Ryan? Why you make us so much habitual of you that we are not at peace without your presence?" Taehyung accepted his defeat, as even after 30 minutes of trying to calm Jimmy, he was not stopping. So first he thought to call Kai. "Hello, Young. Please tell me some remedy to calm my baby. He's continuously crying after waking up." "I'm out of station, but even if I was there, I couldn't do anything, cause your children need their mom with them. Please bring back Ryan. She's the only remedy for Jim." With that, he cut the call, leaving Taehyung again in darkness. After thinking a lot, Taehyung thought to contact Yoongi. Maybe he can help him, as he's the only good and close friend he has got. "Hello, Yoongi. He told each and everything to Yoongi from the time your dad came to take you back till now. Yoongi got worried too, as he can hear Jim crying continuously in background. "Don't worry, bro. I'm coming over there. Okay? Stop panicking. Wait for me." With that, Yoongi cut the call, and Taehyung wiped his tears while continuously cradling Jim and caressing his back while moving back and forth. Watching her brother crying, Rosie crawled to the edge of the bed, and Taehyung immediately picked her before she could fall. Her facial expression changed to seeing her brother crying, and she too started to cry. "No, baby, don't. Please. How am I supposed to handle you both? Why and what have you done?" Soon Yoongi arrived there and saw those three lost souls crying helplessly. Even he can feel the intensity of their pain just by looking at them. He placed his hand on Taehyung's shoulder and said, "Tae, don't worry, man. Baby will be alright, okay?" "How, Young? Can't you see his condition? He has not even breathed properly since he woke up, but wailing continuously. And on top of that, Rosie also started crying. I will go insane, Young." "Tae, calm down. I know what you're going through, and now only one person can handle you all. So let's go to her." "No, Young, what are you saying? You know her father will never let her meet us. So what you want? Just to sit here and cry along with your babies? Tae, you have to at least try, man. And I'm there for you. So don't worry much." "But Young..." "No buts. Come on, let's go." Meanwhile, in the NJ mansion, your eyes flickered open and you sat on bed while holding your head, which was paining like it will burst any time. You drank the water from the nightstand to get in your senses, as your nerves were stiffened due to crying so much, caused a severe headache. You remembered what all happened yesterday and how you slept last night while weeping continuously. You wondered how you came to bed when you slept on floor, but not having strength to think about any trivial matter, as there are already so many problems lingering around you. You weakly got up from the bed and went to the washroom to get your mind stable. You came out slowly and sat on the edge of your bed, Warm tears made the way down your face as your heart was only thinking that how those three people will be doing without you. Will they be fine or would they miss you the way you are doing? You can only remember their faces the last time you saw them. They were crying for you. Taehyung was crying. Your babies were crying. You were thinking all this being lost in your thoughts when a thought came to your mind which made your heart beat faster and you became restless. Last time when your dad was dragging you out from Taehyung's house, you saw Jimmy fall off the couch. Your heart started paining in the thought of how he would be doing now. Will he be okay or not? You started to panic and tried to search a phone or a telephone to contact Tae and ask how they are doing and how is Jim. Is he and Rosie fine? But there was no device in the room to contact them. She again sat on bed while crying silently. Soft whimpers left her mouth time to time. How am I supposed to survive without them? Dad, please, just once listen to me. Please, Dad. She stopped in the middle as her ears stood up when she heard the loud shrieking cries of a toddler. She didn't take even an instant to recognize that voice. She stood up from the bed in shock and immediately rushed to the door, and to her surprise the door opened. It wasn't locked. She got out of the room and ran down the stairs like her life depends on this race. Without caring about she could stumble. She reached the living room and there she saw what was their situation just in a day without her. She saw Jimmy's face has turned red due to continuous wailing and his runny nose with a huge bump on his forehead. Rosie was crying with her hand in her mouth, indicating that they didn't even eat anything in your absence. And then your eyes landed on him, whose hairs are messy, faces pale, and dry tears still visible. Jim was in Taehyung's arms and Rosie was in Yoongi's, and as soon as Jim saw you, he extended his small tiny hand indicating to come to you while crying more loudly. You couldn't see them like that and immediately rushed in an attempt to take Jim in your embrace. You were just an inch away from reaching them when a tight grip on your arm stopped you to step any further. You turned around to see your appa standing there angrily preventing you to going to them. You cried helplessly and begged him, Appa, please, please leave me. I beg you, my babies are weeping so much. Please, Appa. Uncle, please, he has high fever. He's continuously crying since yesterday. Please, I plead you, just once let Wyan hold him, please. Wyan's blood dried listening his words. Her baby has high fever and on top of that he's crying continuously. That huge bump on his forehead and runny nose. She was feeling a pinch pain in her heart. She tried to get out of her dad's grip in desperation to hold her Jim, but her dad didn't loosen his hold even a bit. Uncle, please. Shut up. Enough. Enough of your drama. Show your acting skills somewhere else and immediately get out of my house. Who even allowed you to enter? Oh, Uncle, please at least listen to them once. Oh, now I know how he entered here. I don't understand why you are supporting them. I didn't expect this from you. Yoongi lowered his head as he had nothing to say in his defense. And you, how shameless you are to come to my house and stand in front of me. I don't know what black magic you have done on my daughter that she's not ready to listen to dad who was once her everything. You shook your head while crying, disagreeing to what your dad was saying. Your mom watched you crying sorrowfully and held your dad's hand while saying, Honey, you need to handle this calmly. No, Jessie, I've realized we can't deal calmly with this stubborn boy who is so desperately after our daughter. He will spoil our daughter's future. He has trapped our daughter in his sweet talks that now she's even ready to take responsibility of his. Stop it, Appa. Just stop it. Please. For God's sake, stop calling my babies a mistake. Stop trash talking about them. Wyan, you are innocent. You don't know anything about who is good and who is bad. Why are you not understanding? He slept with someone, got her pregnant, and now those mistakes he's imposing on you. Appa, they are not mistake. They are his siblings. The whole living room got filled with utter silence. Mom, Dad, and your brother all were shocked due to this new information. Yes, they are his siblings. Their mom dad were killed few days after his twin siblings were born. For God's sake, stop scraping his wound, Dad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I stayed with them without telling you. But I have to stay with them, otherwise, how he was supposed to handle two toddlers all by himself? They have no one other than me, Dad. Your dad loosened his grip on your hand and you immediately ran to hold your baby. You took him from Taehyung's arm and kissed his whole face, who was burning hot with fever. He held your face in his tiny palms and left a sloppy kiss on your nose. Your heart melted to see the little soul craving for you. You softly kissed his back and his cries dropped down slowly. You looked up to see Taehyung looking at you with red teary eyes and you instantly hugged him with your other arm and he cried with his head in your shoulder. You could feel the torment in his sobs telling you how miserable was that one day without you. You kissed his temple to calm him and to assure him that you will never leave him in any situation. He detached from you after a while and wiped his face. You then looked at Rosie crying in Yoongi's arms. You indicated him to bring her to you. He came near you and you took her in your hold. You kissed her lips and she calmed with your touch. She held your top from the deep neck area and you spoke with cracked voice. You are hungry? My babies didn't eat anything. You took them with you to the kitchen and started to prepare milk by your own with much difficulty as both of your hands were occupied. Your mom followed you to the kitchen and helped you in that. She poured the milk in a bowl as there was no baby tumbler to feed them. Go to your room, I'm bringing this there. You nodded and went to your room with your mom following you from behind. There you settled on the bed with Jim laying on your lap and Rosie on your shoulder. Your mom placed the bowl in front of you. You feed him, I'll feed her. You nodded and made Rosie sit on bed. You and your mom picked up the spoon at the same time. You feed Jim and he gulped it slowly, but on the other side, Rosie watched you feeding Jim and someone else was feeding her, which she didn't like. She pushed the spoon away from her mouth and crawled on your lap. You sighed on her stubbornness and laid her too on your lap while making space for her. Now you one time feed Jim and one time her. Like this you feed both of them and they slept on your lap after a while. You kissed their head and checked Jim's fever and to your relief it was started to go down. Your mom was watching all this. She felt that strong motherly bond between you and your babies. Neither they nor you can survive without each other. She was amazed to see her arrogant girl being a softy, emotional and warm-hearted mother. The live proof of that was those two childs who were so restless without you and calmed down the instant they got in your embrace. The babies are now sleeping soundly. You placed them on the bed for more comfortable position and covered them with your duvet. They were at ease cause the bed was filled with your essence, which was giving them the assurance of your presence. Your mom went away long back. Now you came out of your room to the living room. There was only silence that can be heard in spite of the presence of so many people there. You saw your dad sitting on the couch while massaging his head with closed eyes, and rest of the people were standing at different places in the living room. Taehyung was standing at the same place you left him. You went near your dad and kneeled down in front of him and took his head in your both hands. Appa, you called him lovingly and he slowly looked at you. I'm sorry. I know I'm at fault. I should have talked about that to you like I did since childhood. Appa, please forgive me for my mistake. You kissed the back of his hand and that's it. His anger and restlessness melted right away. All the exasperation and complex thoughts flew away from his mind when he felt your love through the kiss. You placed his hand on your cheeks, feeling a virginal warmth. Your dad cupped your face and placed a kiss on your head. How can I be angry for so long from my kiddo? He hugged you while placing your head on his chest, kissing your back with all the love he had. All the people standing there witnessed this heartfelt love of a father and daughter. He broke the hug to kiss your head again and then looked up to see the people standing around him. He stood up from the couch and went near Tae. You were tensed that what will he say, but all your worry flew away listening your dad's words. "I- I'm sorry, Taehyung. Whatever I said was not right. It might have hurt you to the core. You think of the situation from my perspective, a father's perspective. A man who brought up his child with so much care and love by sacrificing so many things on the way, but the man found out that someone is trying to harm the peace of his heart, his daughter. What will be his situation? How he will react? I'm sorry I behaved very rudely and said so many harsh words to you, but believe me, they were just because of anger. It's okay, uncle. I understand you. I'm so overwhelmed to see the love of a father and daughter. I wish to have the same bond with my baby siblings. He said, smiling weakly, and Namjoon patted his back, being proud of what he's doing for his siblings. Otherwise, people are so coward to take any responsibility, even when it's their duty, not responsibility. Meanwhile, you stood near the couch and smiled, seeing all the things are sorted out now. You thought that life will be so easy and beautiful, but what you didn't know was something you have to sacrifice one thing to get another, and this sacrifice will cost the life to you. Your dad went to his room, and mom brought food for you, Tae, Yoongi, and Jen. Come, all of you, settle on the dining. I will bring food. You went to the kitchen to serve Tae first, as he didn't eat anything since yesterday. You placed the food in front of Tae, who was sitting on the dining, and mom brought food for rest of you. Tae, you have to finish the whole food. I know you have not eaten anything since yesterday. Listening this, Tae looked up at you with disbelief and made you sit beside him. Why you skipped your food? You know na, you have gastric problems. You can't stay hungry for a long time. Your mom saw his caring nature towards you. You pouted and said, I know. Now don't be angry bird and eat the food. You went to your room after finishing food to look at the twinnies whether they are up or still sleeping. When you entered the room, they were sound asleep, and you first hand checked James' temperature by placing your hand on his head, throat, and hand. You were relieved to know that he was all fine now. It was already evening, and you thought to go back to your house, means your and Taehyung's house, as your babies need to get a bath. You realized how incomplete they are without you. Their all activities stop when you aren't around. Their food, bath, body massage, and all the little activities stop. Their whole routine become mess without you. You kissed their head and that broke their sleep. They both giggled when they saw you and started to throw their arms and legs to make you pick both of them in your embrace. They both placed their head on your shoulder where Rosie played with your locket while holding it in her fist, and Jim placed his small tiny hand on your cheeks just to let out those quirky baby giggles. You headed to the living room with them and said to your mom, Mom, it's time for me to go back. Tell Dad I'll visit him some other day. Your mom nodded and you gave Jim to Taehyung as you can't hold both of them. Let's go there. You both held hands and were about to take a step when a voice came from behind. Stop. You turned around to see your father standing there. You smiled and said, Oh, Appa, I thought you were sleeping. I didn't want to disturb you. That's why I was going without bidding bye. But now it's good that you came by. You're not going anywhere. Appa, but babies don't have clothes here, so I have to go. They can go, but you aren't going. Don't worry, Appa. I'll come again to meet you, but for now you will leave them for forever. Your smile dropped listening his words, and your face became pale, but not to think anything negative. You again asked, What do you mean, Appa? I mean you need to break up with Taehyung and you're not seeing them anymore. Your heart dropped in your stomach, the lump stuck in your throat, and tears started to drip down your face. There was someone other than you who experienced the same emotion like you, and that was your boyfriend Taehyung. His heart shrank with the fear of losing you. But Appa, all the things are clear now. Then what's the reason of this sudden disagreement? You know they are his siblings and not what you thought. And why you are asking me to break up with him? Even if they are his siblings, you are not going to be in a relationship with him. But why, Appa? What's the problem? Because you both are not fit for each other. If it was about only him, then I would have allowed you. But these two kids are now connected with him. You are too young for all this. You're not at the right age to take care of two kids alone. Your mom, who was standing there listening his words, and her heart clenched with her husband's words, because she saw a few hours ago how your relationship is with those two kids. You love them with your whole life, and you know every tiniest of things about them, just like a mother, whereas they too can't live without you. Your mom didn't wanted your father to hurt you more by saying those words, so she went to him and said, "Honey, what are you doing? Can't you see how much they love each other? You are saying this. Can't you see Arvine is a kid herself? She can't take this big responsibility." You started to cry out loud, and seeing your both babies' eyes teared up too, they too started to cry. Taehyung was tearing too. Jim, who was in Taehyung's hands, told his appa while pointing at you that you are crying. All four of you were a mess while crying. You spoke between your tears. "Please, appa, I can't live without them. Please." Your last words came out as whisper, and your dad and mom was hurt too to watch your condition. Your dad's emotions were turning into anger seeing you like that. But as he was so desperate to make you agree with his decision, he spoke the most heartless words to you, which left all the people in shock. "Fine then, choose between me and these kids." He had confidence that now you have to agree with him because you can't dare to leave your dad, whom you love so much, but he didn't knew what was coming for him. "Appa, how could you do that to me? How easily you said those words." "Appa, if that was about choosing between Taehyung and you, I would have chosen you without a second thought. But you asked me to choose between you and those innocent souls. They are dependent on me. They can't survive without me." Crying loudly while hugging Rosie. "They had become a part of me, Appa. Maybe you can survive without me, but they can't. So I'm choosing them over you." You took Taehyung's hand and left from there, being hurt from whatever your dad said few minutes ago. And here, Namjoon fell on floor while holding his chest as tears made way down his face. The Mafia King was crying. JC immediately ran to him and hugged him. He looked at her slowly, showing the lowest phase of his life to his wife. "My daughter, my Vian, she left me. What will happen now? Will the daughter and father ever reconcile?" We'll continue later in the next video. And thank you guys for watching it till last. And I'm sorry for uploading this so late, but guys, I had my exams till 19th of June and it got over, so immediately after that I edited this video. So show so much love. Thanks for watching.